go is give you a little history of the cemetery itself. In 1905, the cemetery committee realized that the Union Cemetery was getting too crowded. So they started looking for land. The Union Cemetery was built in 1848. And the other old cemetery in town was the old German Catholic Cemetery, or the old St. Kilian Cemetery. So they started looking for land, and Frank Day owned this farm up in this area. And they bought it in 1905 for $2,500. And the reason they wanted this land was because it was so beautiful, sitting high and seeing all the sloping fields. When they dedicated the cemetery, they asked that people bring a picnic lunch, a picnic basket. And some of the people were a little upset it was not showing respect. But it is an old custom where people used to come on Sunday afternoons with their picnic basket, and Grandma and Grandpa were in the ground, but they cleaned up the stone, and then they would sit and have their picnic lunch and include them. Cemeteries before 1831 were cemeteries of this style. Graveyards were from churches. And then later on, the municipal cemeteries came where they would build these big mausoleums, crematoriums, completely changed everything in an exact row. But that's why these are so beautiful, because it's the trees and just a beautiful location. When you enter the cemetery from Highway 60, you'll notice the beautiful gates. What those represented was whatever you were entering a cemetery, you were leaving your world of the living and you were coming into the city of the dead. And they wanted you to show the respect to the people buried there.
I don't want to come through here.
Oh, it's terrible, terrible. And cemeteries lots of times too were like spooky, scary places. They're really not. Rex, one of our volunteers, will be explaining it to you. He's doing a new process, or maybe you had already, but cleaning stones.
It's interesting.
But it's meant to, he said, the solitude of why he's working. It's the meditation, the solitude, the peace. And that is what a cemetery is here for. And we also have to remember that one day we will be laying in a cemetery, and hopefully people will come and remember us. The Historical Society started these tours because we wanted to bring out the history of our original settlers and pioneers, give their stories, their hardships, their hard working, and how they made such a beautiful community that we live in. So wherever you walk in the cemetery now, you will see somebody dressed like this. That's where the docents will be and explain the history of that deceased person. So we have one there, we have somebody giving the history of the motifs, we have one over there, and then in this group, and don't forget the two over here. But I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for coming and supporting us.